Y'all, we're almost at the beginning of the 1893 World's Fair, but there was something that happened in 1892 we got to talk about first. 77, let's go. Hey. That's a bop, boy.
That is a bop.
Yeah.
Welcome back to 77 Flavors. That's it. 77 Flavors.
They wait for Of Chicago.
If you are new here, welcome. Every week we talk about a new piece of Chicago history that we love or don't love sometimes, but that's okay because that's what history is. If you're not new here, welcome back. We are on episode 2 of the World's Fair of 1893, the World Columbian Exposition. So if you're jumping in on episode 2, I recommend you go back and listen to episode 1. We talk about the setup of the fair and how things came about.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that. But today we're going to dive into the dedication ceremonies, the inaugural ceremonies that took place months ahead of the opening day. But before we do that, make sure you're following.
You forgot, huh?
Make sure you're following. I was trying to think of what I wanted to say first. Make sure you're following us on socials. It is at 77 Flavors Shy everywhere. We post some cool stuff on there.
Yeah.
We have some cool pictures, some videos, some fun things that you do not get through the podcast that you'll get there. So make sure you're following us there. Check out our website, 77flavors.org. And it has a lot of cool information on there. If you're not already subscribed to our weekly free newsletter, that is a good place to read it. It's under show notes. It is the only place that you can read it other than our in your inbox once a week. But if you do want to get it in your inbox, you can also subscribe either through Substack or directly on our website. Well, you'll get you added on there. Yeah. So you can get that. I
will say, slacked on the video for last week. That's coming up. The video for last week's episode will be up. There is no video for this week's episode intentionally, but subscribe to the Substack because there's a lot of cool things that
a lot of photos
that you're going to want to see
fun.
After listening to this.
Yeah. It's actually going to be a really fascinating episode. Or in terms of like photos, just seeing the really like historic images that we've never seen before, because this is not really the actual fair. Yeah. We're still in today's episode is October of 1892. So it's a different week than the beginning of the fair.
I think this week's Substack might be just as good as the podcast in a sense that,
first of all, how dare you? It's just as good every week.
That's very you right. you wound it on that.
Watch your mouth.
We rewind that. You know what I'm saying?
Back up.
Brother ain't mean no harm, y'all.
Just it might be okay this week.
It's somebody out there. Girl, get his ass. No. But
and that's what you get.
What I was going to say,
crazy.
He's talking reckless on this podcast.
You know what? You read it this week.
No. What I was going to say,
no, just kidding.
No. Well, let me get through it. What I was going to say is we could add video because there's video pieces that we think you'll want to see because actually maybe I'm just thinking that it'd be fun to see because like it just shows that, hey, we actually held these pieces.
Yeah. And I think that's worth it. That's worth
I think
seeing.
So. I mean, it's really cool. Some of this stuff is just really mindful.
It's fascinating. Yeah. And all of our research for this was done at the University of Chicago Special Collections.
Shout out to the U Chicago
Special
team.
Collections. Boy. Yeah. It is it's open to the public. You can go and access the same resources that we did. All you have to do is create an account, log in, and request the sources, and then show up. Simple. They have a lot of stuff online too that you can check out without being there in person. So if you are outside of the state or outside of the city and you kind of want to see some of the stuff, they've digitized a lot. Yeah. So
big shout out to them because they really helping us out.
They really did.
They really like.
Yeah, we'll be back there this week too again to continue our research. So we're excited. But before we get into the episode, I just have a couple things that I want to talk about that we did this week because we had a pretty fun week. We had a really fun week, actually. And I hope every time we talk about this, I hope you take this as like things we did that we enjoyed that we think you might also enjoy. We don't add any we're not talking about what Xbox games Dario played. Yeah. That's but if you want to know that, should I start a separate podcast? I don't know. We have the equipment. You might as well. But what I was going to say is,
that's a good point to bring up because, like, yeah, we recapping our week, but really what we telling you
I'm just recapping stuff that you can also go to.
That's facts. That's a good way of putting it. I ain't never think about it.
So, yeah, that's always intentional. That's how I make our list. So, the first thing that we did this week started off fresh on Monday is we went to Illuminati's. They have a new pizza that is Italian beef and sausage called Beefza. Not a big fan of the name, but big fan of the pizza.
The pizza was slapping.
And here's my recommendation. The thin crust, I think, was better than the deep dish.
Man, you know.
Even though I like deep dish, I'm not a deep dish hater whatsoever. But I think in this topping, the thin crust was just more flavor. I don't know.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a little bit more flavor. But for me, it's crazy because normally they right down the middle for me.
Yeah,
it's just depending on which way I feel that day. But this time I was like, nah, it's a clear winner here.
Yeah.
I think
thin crust
was crazy.
It was so good.
I mean, and don't get it twisted. If you like deep dish, that deep dish going crazy.
Yeah.
But the
thin crust was, and I think I would have liked like a little bit more beef on the deep dish is my only thing.
Maybe a little
bit
more,
but it was still delicious. Like I enjoyed both.
So that jardiniere
it was
he made
so
on
good.
that?
Yeah.
Sure.
So the chef that they're doing this in partnership with is actually a pretty famous chef, and I kind of I made a joke. He's like a celebrity chef. I made a joke. We were standing in line, and he was like, I've eaten this pizza like 3 times this week, and I was like, and he's like, I have to eat it on the go, and I was like, yeah, you're so busy, and he was like, I'm so busy, and we went back and forth. We made a little joke. Jeff, God, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Mauro. Yeah. It's the MAU that always throws me off.
You off, huh?
Mm-hmm. But it's his giardiniera that goes on top of the pizza, and it's a collab between him and Illuminati's, which is very cool. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And then we also got to check out MSI's new exhibit called Powering the Future.
Yeah, y'all.
Okay, this might be one of my favorite exhibits at MSI. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's really hard to
And they got a lot of fun stuff.
They have some cool exhibits. Here's why I like this one, because it's good for kids and parents. Mm-hmm. Like, it's enjoyable as an adult, not just as a child. Yes. But if you are a kid, there's a million things that are so interactive that you can like play around with.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the topic is electricity.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. I don't know. It's just something about electricity. Because
it's like power.
Yeah, power.
Not just electricity. It's just also like power.
Yeah. And that in itself is interesting. And especially if you've been to the Museum of Science and Industry before, they have some really cool electricity things there already. Right.
Right.
But this one is kind of like a new exhibit, which, by the way, y'all, I don't remember the last time I saw a brand new exhibit that's supposed to be a permanent thing happen at one of our, you know what I mean? Like, it just, maybe Sue, when Sue was there.
Sue's been there forever.
Yeah, but like, they took her down for a little, they moved around. That was a big deal when they brought it up. But like, I don't know. This one was really cool to be a part of.
It's a pretty large exhibit. It takes up like a
2-3 floors,
chunk of the floor that it was on.
Yeah.
And it tells you like the entire history of power.
Yeah.
And grids and like how, and it even has an electric car from like 1923.
Yeah.
There's
crazy.
Some like gears that were at the 1933 World's Fair.
We'll get into that.
Century of Progress. It was just so cool. And we were there for the preview night. And John, who is the person who curated it, he took us around and kind of like explained everything to us. First of all, he is like the coolest person.
Yeah, he's super cool. We was vibing out.
Yeah, we really were.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed hanging out with him. And we learned that he's also the person that built the train.
Crazy. The little miniature town.
The miniature town.
That everybody loves.
And there's a bunch of Easter eggs in there. Like his house is in there.
His house is in there.
Sick.
I don't want to, they probably told this already, but like how they created it is the story there. But
we'll come back to it. We have a date set up with John.
Hold on. I don't want to get by this one without saying, y'all, it's that slide and the little electricity town you get to build and play with the little toy things is crazy, y'all. I couldn't let that slide without saying something.
Here's the thing. That slide is kind of scary. I went on the tiny one, truly tiny.
Yeah.
Dario did the one that goes between like 2 or 3 floors.
When it's like a big coil.
Yeah, and it's meant to like show how energy goes from kinetic to whatever the other one is.
Yeah.
We're arts and history people.
You
We're
know what I'm saying?
Okay,
No,
it's not
no.
a science.
Go ahead and get the Benjamin Franklin episode podcast if that's what you want.
It's a bachelor's of arts on this end.
You know, and there's nothing on this end.
No BS.
Damn.
And no bachelor's of science. Good.
Oh yeah, I get it. Look at you. I will hit you with a coin, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a really cool exhibit. They did, it's not sponsored or anything, but they did give us a discount code that's valid through May 28th. If you do want to check it out, the discount code is 77 flavors 20, number 77 flavors, and then the number 20 for 20% off. If you want to check it out,
worth it for kids.
It's really fun. It's really fun, and you could spend like a decent amount of time in there, and it's just so cool.
There's other things that we didn't even mention that they got in there too.
Oh my God, this is so much.
There's I don't want to give any more because I just want y'all to be surprised. But honestly, this is going to be one thing that Chicago is going. There's a lot of good tickets coming out this year.
Yeah.
You got the Obama Center, which the tickets went on sale. They selling out like quick.
For sure.
If you ain't got no ticket now, you probably not gonna get in until later. Mm-hmm. This is about to be a hit. I know it's gonna be a hit. Summertime, man. Yeah. And then
which I think our code is also valid for the Anne Frank exhibit. It's just because I think it's valid for the general entry. GA. If you want 20% off that, and then because I know the Anne Frank exhibit is a separate ticket.
Yeah.
This one is open. Like once you buy it's part of your GA. Part of it. But if you get the 20% off, you can also hit the Anne Frank exhibit.
What I mean? Throw the code in there. It work. If it works, you got to
try it out.
You got to May 28th.
Yeah,
to figure it out.
See what they can do for you.
Yeah.
We also had a really special day. We spent at is it Lion?
Yeah, Lion.
Okay, because it's spelled Lyon.
Yeah, that's how you say lion. That's the other spelling of it.
Lion is.
Yeah, Lion and Lyon.
Really?
Yeah, Lion the town. Lions, the town, yeah.
Oh, sure. We spent a day at the Lion School in Beaumont, Cragen, and it was so special. We were there for a good amount of
whole school day.
Yeah, we were there from 9:30 in the morning till 3-ish.
It was
in the afternoon.
2:45.
Yeah. And we spoke to 3 different groups of students, 5th, 6th, and 7th graders, and 4 classes in each group. So 4 classes of 5th graders, 6th and 7th. And we basically talked about what we do, how is what we do a career. And we also talked about the history. We talked about the history of the neighborhood, history of the city. And they asked so many fun questions. It was incredible. And if you guys are not familiar, that's part of our nonprofit work is that we kind of take the 77 experience and bring it to students. The school did not, want to necessarily leave campus. So we did, just a talk, a presentation. And so, we're going to continue working with them and taking the students out into the neighborhoods. And all of these services we provide are free.
Right.
So if you ever want to support them, that is one thing that you can do on our website is you can donate so that we can continue to do this.
Talk to the children. You know what's really cool is it's always fun to be a product of CPS and still be able to go back to CPS and talk to the kids. Like that is always forever going to be.
And just watching them like
a thing that just made me feel good. Yeah.
And then watching them like absorb the information and remember it is super fascinating. I will say the 7th graders are hilarious because they are too cool for school.
Yeah.
The 5th and 6th graders were so excited to learn. Like they were so engaged. They were so fun. I mean, all 3 groups were, but it's just like so fun.
Shout out to them asking for autographs too.
I know that was so fun.
Look, if we got any Lions student parents that got their kids' shirt signed. Apologies if you didn't like it.
I did ask. I was like, are your parents going to be okay with this?
I kind of feel bad about the 5th graders because like they asked first, can you sign my shirt? And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then, the 6th and 7th graders, they was all about it. And I was like, I mean, they got 5 weeks left of school. You're going to need new t-shirts next year anyway. So
I guess so.
Yeah, you're going to be fine. But if those kids, hang on to that for however long they hang on to it too,
it was just so
that's
special.
kind of fun. I got to work on my signature though.
And honestly, like the teachers were also amazing because every teacher, every class obviously came with their teacher, and the teachers were also engaged, and that was so fun. I mean, we would make references to certain pieces of history, and we'd be like, "Do you guys know what that is?" And they'd be like we said, Marshall Fields or Montgomery Ward, and they were like, "No idea what that is."
Yeah.
Which is so funny.
But the adults were like,
the teachers were like asking questions and like engaging, which is so nice. Again, we want to be a resource for teachers. We want to be a resource
it was for fifth grade, sixth grade.
Yeah, like we want to be a resource for them, and we want to continue to be able to provide research and support their syllabus for free. We don't want this to ever be a cost to the school.
Yeah.
And so, if you do want to support that, you can on our website. There's a donate option, and that is where that money will go.
And then,
last thing we did this week was we went to a concert called Going Bacharach,
Yep.
which is Burt Bacharach's it's a show that combines a bunch of his songs into a performance
that he either wrote or composed or
Yep. Because apparently he composed over 1,000 songs.
That's insane.
It's at the Apollo Theater.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. If you think you don't know who Bacharach is,
You do.
you do.
You just don't know.
You don't know that he did that.
Yeah.
Boy, when that House Is Not a Home came on, I was like,
You said Luther.
Luther? That's where it came from? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that blew my mind. I was like, dang. I mean, you write over 1,000 songs, it's a good chance.
Yeah.
And
I mean, he's written for musicals. He's written for
movies,
TV shows,
yeah.
for movies, for pop artists.
You know what's crazy is like, as it was going, I was like, oh, I do know that song.
Yeah.
Oh, I do know that song.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like, he was actually pretty cool. The cool thing is, though, the lead, well, there were 3 people that were actually from the off-Broadway show, like from the original cast. So, like, they were there, and the band was amazing. Adrian was amazing.
The band is actually a Chicago band.
Oh, that was a Chicago band?
Chicago band.
Oh, they was locked in.
Yeah.
They were locked in.
And one of the singers was from Chicago.
But the guy, he went he toured with Bacharach for 26 years.
26 years.
And the Adrian, who was the kind of the pianist and like kind of the pseudo host.
I think he put it together. He put the show together.
He put it together. Yeah, he was like a fan of Bacharach, and I guess one of the first times he went ever to see it, the lead singer that was there tonight was him. Was him.
Yeah.
And now he's playing with him.
So cool.
Man, look, honestly, that was a vibe. It was a concert, low key. I ain't gonna lie. They could all sing.
Yeah.
The music was all good. It's not what you think. That's all I can say.
Yeah, for sure. There's only a few more shows left. It runs through May 17th. Saturday and Sunday they do 2 shows. So, and Wednesday they have 2 shows. So you have a few more opportunities to see it if you're interested.
6 days.
It's a really fun experience. The Apollo Theater, this was my first time at the Apollo.
Yep.
It was a nice space. I like how it feels very cozy in there. Yeah. It's a beautiful, the lighting in there was so cool.
The audio sounds good. It's just fantastic. So let's get this thing cracking, y'all.
All right. We are at the inaugural ceremonies, y'all. We made it. Mm-hmm. The buildings are up.
Yeah.
All of them are.
Yeah, they are. We ready to go. We're
ready to go. We're rocking and rolling.
Right? Question mark, y'all. That's suspense. Because you find out.
You'll find out. But this is kind of, in my mind, is like the press preview for the World's Columbian Exposition. It's everyone that needs to see it before it happens. Obviously, press, some people from the city, every dignitary, every important person, every rich person, every government official.
It's like the pseudo start because they didn't plan it this way, but it worked out for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It worked out.
Because originally we know that the fair was supposed to happen in 1892, obviously, because that marks the 400 years, but it just didn't get done by then. So these are not opening ceremonies, inaugural ceremonies, dedication ceremonies that happened before. They weren't going to open in the winter. So they were going to wait until the spring and summer to open. Summer, really.
Yeah.
So that's why they waited till May. But they had to celebrate. So, and they celebrated.
Yeah.
Okay. They celebrated hard.
They did. They celebrated in the buildings, y'all.
They celebrated more than the buildings.
More than the buildings,
but that was the biggest celebration. Yes. That was the most number of people. And I'll get to that in a second, but I do kind of want to go through the week in chronological order. Even though the document that I pulled this information from does it in the order of how large the celebration was, which I thought was interesting. So it kind of like, it did it out of order.
Prioritizing how cool it was. Okay.
But I just think I think chronologically makes more sense. To me, at least. And, there's a lot of information. I will link the document that has all of the information. If you are interested in reading the speeches, if you want to read the music, all of that stuff, if you want to know exactly who was there, I will link that for you. I'm not going to spend 75 hours listing all of it.
Let me tell you something.
So,
hell no.
I just don't think that is fun to listen to, but I am the kind of person that would love to hear that information. So I did read the whole document. It is 355 pages.
And what's cool is we got the Substack. You can go.
I'll link it.
It's like continuation.
I'll link it. Yeah. So all these celebrations started October 19th on a Wednesday. Okay. And this was part of the, these inaugural ceremonies, the opening ceremonies. This was one of the smaller ones. And it was basically a dinner, and it was at the auditorium. Okay. And it was a smaller dinner for the all of the people that were kind of prepping to welcome everyone that was coming in for these celebrations. It talks about how the auditorium was decorated, and I think it's really interesting how the choice of at first it didn't click in my mind when they were like everything was yellow and red, and I was like, what an odd combo of colors. It is the Spanish flag. So
for what?
For the Queen of Spain.
Oh, is that
the Queen of Spain that funded Columbus?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was like, where'd she come from in this whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Queen Isabel.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the decorations were for her. Obviously, there was someone from Spain that came to kind of receive the honor on behalf of the Queen. Obviously, she's dead, but you know what I mean? You're so welcome that Spain funded the journey of Columbus.
This fake voyage.
And one of the cool things about the way that the auditorium was decorated, a lot of things happened at the auditorium during these ceremonies because it was large and it could host a lot of people. The Studebaker also kind of gave their building for people to use because it was so large because they manufactured cars, and so they had a lot of space. And so we now know it as the Studebaker Theater in the Fine Arts Building. That's the same Studebaker.
Okay.
Not the same building, same company.
Gotcha.
And so one of the cool things on this small little dinner was that there was above the stage, there was the Columbus Arms and the Arms of Expedition, Columbus Arms and the Columbus Expedition Arms banner. And they were that banner was white and green. And on each side, there was electric lights that said 1892 and 1492.
So they had the technology back then. So
why
are we slacking right now?
They said, here's the electricity.
It's 2026. Why are we slacking on things?
Yeah.
If they had that back then.
Listen, the pictures of how everything was decorated was so cool.
Out of control. You know what? One thing I was thinking about, you talking about the auditorium. We kind of got this this connected world of our content, y'all. You gotta go to our read our reels, view our reels, because I talk about the auditorium and how the auditorium came to be. So if you're jumping in now, you're probably like, well, what about the auditorium? I tell you about the auditorium and why is it that in our reel. So kind of like an extension. Just wanted to bring that out there in case anybody wonder.
This is the Auditorium Hotel.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same thing connected.
And so the dinner was served in 3 different rooms because there were a lot of people. There was the dining room, the banquet hall, and the 3rd floor of the Studebaker.
Okay.
They were, it said, so generously donated by the Studebaker Manufacturing Company.
Okay.
The dinner was catered by H.M. Kinsley, which, fun fact, I was like, who is this guy? Who's this caterer that Bertha Palmer was like, good enough for me? He is the first to also create the menu, or he created the menu for the first Pullman dining car.
Oh, wow.
So same guy, good enough for Pullman, good enough for Palmer.
Damn. They linked up. Hey man, you got to plug on some of this food, bro.
Yeah.
That's right. That was the conversation.
And obviously the night was a lot of speeches, a lot of, it was dinner. It was a long, long dinner. But then we quickly go into the more fun celebrations. October 20th, there was the civic ceremony. This was the parade. And it was basically like the Army, the Navy, all these people having a little parade through the streets of the city.
Heavy on the Army and the military.
That's what that was for.
They got their rocks off.
Yeah, they did. They for sure did. All of the speeches were very like, wow, this is such a young country, but we are just so much better than everybody else.
Doing it, right?
Yeah.
We doing it.
And they kept referring to it as the old world and the new world, and I think that's just so funny.
And it's so egotistical.
You have people from all over the world sitting there like, okay, bro, you're like maybe 100 years old.
You realize you're not even a teen.
You're like
yet.
150.
Yeah. Like, bro, relax, G.
Yeah, how old was it? It wasn't even 100.
120 years old. Well, no, it was 100.
1892.
Yeah, 1892. It was. It wasn't even 120 at that point.
Yeah.
It was 116.
Yeah, baby.
Maybe. Yeah, 100.
Baby.
Yeah. Wow.
This parade went. It was long. It went from Michigan to 12th Street, which is Roosevelt, Van Buren to Wabash to Lake to State, Adams, Franklin, Jackson, back to State, back to Van Buren.
Jeez.
Long parade.
Yeah, it was a long parade.
Yeah.
Man.
The city was super decorated for this. They actually hired someone specific, and there were multiple subcommittees, but I thought the person that they hired was kind of interesting, interesting choice. Harry Selfridge. And if that name rings a bell, it should. Selfridges. It is one of the largest department stores in the UK.
It's still around.
Yes, it is still around. It's their Marshall Fields.
Okay.
And he divided the city into 25 districts. Can you imagine having like London be like, hey, Marshall Fields, come decorate our streets? Like, it's just so interesting. I mean, it's just fascinating.
That's crazy.
James W. Scott, who was the publisher of the Chicago Herald, he was the one that came up with the idea of like, let's decorate the streets of the city that are away from the fair. Because at this point, if you think about it, from downtown, from the Loop, at least, we are like 8 miles from the grounds of the fair. Yeah. And so that is really far for people traveling.
Is that 8 miles?
Nah, isn't it?
No, that ain't 8 miles. That's probably from State Street. I'd say that's probably like 3 miles. Like
3?
2.5.
No.
Yeah, like 3 miles. About 3 miles.
From Marshall Fields.
Wait. From Marshall Field. The one on State Street? That's maybe 4 miles.
It is 8.5 miles.
That's 8.5. Damn.
From Marshall Fields to Jackson Park is 8.5 miles. Yeah, you are. You are.
Yeah, damn.
It is far.
Damn.
So, and I knew it was 8.5 miles because that was one of the reasons in the first episode that we talked about why they shouldn't have it at Jackson Park, because they said you might as well have it in Waukegan.
Yeah, they was like that. They was a little, like they were wilding with
so
that.
Far
one.
away.
Relax, bro. Like it ain't that far. Gee.
Listen, it is far when you're traveling. Traveling. I mean, if you're not taking the train, you're traveling by horse.
Better get you a Studebaker. Get you a Studebaker.
I mean, I don't think they had engines yet. I don't know.
They was close to it.
They were close. 10-ish years removed from it. And so, James Scott from the Chicago Herald was like, okay, people aren't going to experience, if they don't go to the fair, which highly unlikely, but if they don't go to the fair, they're not, the rest of the city needs to kind of have the same energy, basically. So let's decorate the buildings. Yeah. That was his idea. He wrote to the board and he was like, please, consider this. They said, fine. They hired Harry Selfridge and he divided the city into 25 different districts, hired subcommittees, and they went crazy. I have a picture of the Marshall Fields building decorated.
Yeah, it looked good.
It looks nothing like how it looks right now because of the amount of decorations. Like it was so opulent.
But when I looked at the picture, I was like, what is on top of the building?
I know.
It was like, where's that at? Jeez, like what?
It was really cool. Yeah. That same night, there were 2 different dinners happening at the same time. One for the Navy, Army, the Legion, the National Guard, all of that. It happened at the Armory of the 1st Infantry on 16th in Michigan. Okay. The other dinner, which was really interesting, was the Fellowship Club dinner. The Fellowship Club, started in June of 1891, and it was kind of around to promote friendship and fellowship and being a good fellow, right? And they had the dinner at Kinsley, and it was a 7 p.m. dinner. It was at the banquet hall, and it was all decorated with American, Spanish, and Italian colors. Disgusting. I was like, what is American, Spanish, Italian?
Yeah, what is
red,
that?
white, blue, yellow, red,
And
green.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I mean, was it? They had to have
Red,
some
white.
flags.
Red, white, blue, green, yellow.
There's a lot going on. You
That's
might
a lot.
throw the rainbow up there. That's all it was. You was missing pink and orange. That was it.
Literally. And what's really fun, again, they had this sign that said fellowship lit up in red light bulbs. It said electric light bulbs.
I bet you Edison was like, boy, look at me. Y'all see me? You see
Literally.
me? You see me?
You can't miss it.
Yeah, right. What's up?
It was, I mean, what a cool thing to see. Like, a lot of people probably had not seen lights yet. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It also talks about the flowers that were on the table. They had yellow and white chrysanthemums, pink and yellow roses, American beauties and carnations. And they had
American beauties.
Yeah. And
what kind of flowers are them?
American Beauty.
You see, hey, y'all can't see. She rolled eyes like I'm asking about an actual person. Hold on. I don't know what the flower look like. Calm down, shorty.
I'll show you. It looks like this.
Oh, okay.
It's like a rose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a specific kind of rose.
Okay.
It's called the American Beauty. And what's really cool about this dinner is they had a reproduction of the administration building with the lagoon and the water.
Yeah.
Okay. They had a little miniature reproduction of it that was fully lit up in the center of the table as a centerpiece.
Man, look.
For what?
Man.
That was so cool.
I mean, well,
I want to see that.
They wanted to flex. This whole thing was a flex.
The
man.
whole thing was a flex.
Man, they flexed for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Shit.
I know.
Man.
And now we've come to the actual dedication of the buildings.
Okay.
This was October 21st, 1892. No sleep, club, bus, another club.
Yeah.
This was the
club, bus, another club. Boy, I'd have been sleepy, man. Y'all gonna have to see me tomorrow, dude.
No, I mean,
I guess you weren't missing that. If you was able to go, you were not missing that.
And it was the same names at every single one. It was, obviously the entirety of every single person that was on the board of making this happen.
And imagine pulling up to, and you got Marshall Field there, Potter Palmer, Daniel Burnham. You was just
Pullman was there. Like all of these names that we recognize were all there.
Yeah.
Their wives were there.
Yeah.
Every single person that was on a board was there. All of the wait until you hear who was at the dedication of the buildings. Now, the dedication of the buildings was to dedicate the buildings to the President of the United States. Unfortunately, the President of the United States, his wife was sick. She eventually died because of this sickness. Yeah. So he couldn't attend, and the Vice President came in his place. Okay. But so that was the first attendant.
Oh, wait a minute. So that's why we saw he wrote in.
Correct.
So y'all, we held a lot of these documents, right? We had them, and we were wondering, oh, that's pretty cool that he wrote, he had his whole little dissertation so that's why he could make it. So Correct. That's why they had to have it in the. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
You had a bunch of orators. You had the bishop, you had cardinals, you had reverends, chaplains. You had the president of the fair, the director general, director of works, the mayor of Chicago, all of these people.
All of them.
What's really cool is this was held at the Manufacturers and Liberal Arts building, which was one of the larger buildings, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you how large it is in a second, but let me describe to you what the inside of this building looked like. Okay. So you walk in. To the right and the left of the speakers, which were in the center stage, there was the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court?
Correct.
That's what?
The cabinet, the diplomatic corps, reps from every foreign government that was supposed to be there, all of the governors, the senators, the House of Representatives. There was the general representing the army, admiral representing the navy, etc. All the, all the people.
Okay.
You had all the directors, the board of lady managers, and the lady representatives from the original 13 states only.
Oh, wow.
They said, we don't need any more than that.
They said, 14 through whatever, y'all. Y'all might well be Element OP.
Literally. I love Element OP.
Yeah.
At the south end of the hall, there was a chorus. Guess how many people was in the chorus?
300?
5,000.
5,000?
First of all, my speakers are too.
Man, sorry, y'all. Sorry. 5,000 people.
No, you're not ready. You're not ready. That's the chorus.
Yeah.
5,000 people singing.
5,000. Yeah.
Okay.
Quiet, right.
The orchestra, how many people?
10,000.
That's insane. Why would you say that? 10,000 orchestra pieces?
I mean, it's 5,000 people in a choir.
Yeah, but the average orchestra is about 100 pieces.
The average choir is about 20 people. and that's like, you just, so what?
No, you can't fit 10,000 orchestra pieces. It was 1,500.
That's still crazy. That's not that crazy. I feel like you go
1,500? That's like 100 times the amount.
Let me tell you something. You look at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, it looks like it's 80 million people up in there.
The Chicago Symphony Orchestra is 120.
Oh, so 10%. Okay. Damn, so my scale is way off.
Yeah.
5,000 people and 1,500 band members.
But here's the thing. The documentation that talks about this says that the orchestra was so small in comparison with the number of attendees, it sounded like a hushed noise in the distance. Okay? Because wait, you're not going to believe how many people were there.
Better PA system. That's all it
is.
is.
The space that was assembled in the center, okay? The center like room that would eventually house all of the exhibits had enough space to accommodate 60,000 people.
Golly.
In the galleries above, surrounding, there were 15,000 seats. Okay. The platform in the East Center sat 25,000 people. In the front of the platform.
You
so
got
in front of
stadium-sized
Stadium. Correct.
What?
In front of where like all the, I said all the dignitaries were sitting and people were speaking at the stage in front of the orchestra, on the other end of the orchestra, across the room where, the vice president and stuff. There was enough seating in front of that for 750 reporters to sit at tables. Okay. For the 750, for any other reporter that could not sit at the table, there were enough for 15,000 behind them to sit.
What is going on here, man? Like, why was that building? Where was that building?
It is
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, hey.
Giant.
They wanted, and this is the pre-party. This ain't even the real thing.
This is the morning. So they told people, here's the thing. The actual military procession started at 12:30. They told people to get there at 8:30.
Yeah, because you weren't going to find your seat for one. You literally probably weren't going to find your seat.
Yeah, no, you weren't. They served lunch at the manufacturers building, and there was a buffet at the electrical building. Okay, 70,000 people were served lunch. There was a total of 25,000 people attending.
Man, come on now.
Taylor Swift couldn't pull these numbers.
I would have been. We got to get out of here. There's too many people here, man. Too many.
But here's the thing: the grounds were open, so like people were walking around. It wasn't like they could fit in the building. The
poor people that couldn't get in.
Yeah. You can't get a seat.
You couldn't get a seat. You was like, I just stand on the block.
It was a long morning. Okay, there was a lot. There was a Colombian march. There was an introduction to the Director General. A million prayers. Everybody prayed.
Yeah, everybody prayed. You had to.
All of them.
There's a million people in that building. You needed several prayers
to make it out.
Yeah. Big shifts.
There was
shifts on these prayers, man.
It was a lot. There was the mayor spoke. There was a specific ode that we're gonna get to in a second. It was Daniel Burnham made a presentation and he talked about the artists and
he took too much time.
He did. His speech was long.
His speech was long, G.
There was a couple songs by the chorus and obviously Bertha Palmer got up there and talked about the work of the lady managers and why it was important to include women.
She talked long too.
She did. And her speech was about the importance of involving women.
Yeah. Potter Palmer was in the corner somewhere making sure everybody was paying attention. Y'all want money?
Yeah,
my wife's talking. Yeah,
and he loved her, so
he was going.
He was like,
"This man, he built the building. He built the building, tore it down, rebuilt it for his wife, and he built that before.
He didn't tear it down. He moved people to one side,
right,
and constructed the other, so she wouldn't be disturbed by the construction.
So everybody was attentive.
Everybody was listening.
He probably like Marshall Field.
Take notes.
This power.
There's a quiz after this.
we up here making up this beef. That's the podcast we should have. Just historic beefs.
Okay, you know what's funny? We asked the kids, do you listen to podcasts? And one of the kids said, I love listening to a gossip podcast. And I was like, all history is gossip. We're telling other people's business for no reason. And like we're literally gossiping about them.
Yeah.
It's so fun. That's why I love it. I love history for that reason specifically. So obviously, Bertha Palmer. And then we had the president, accepting the vice president on behalf of the president, accepting the dedication of the buildings, the chorus again. And then we had something called, there was the Star Spangled Banner and the Hail
the Chief.
Columbia chorus. And if you did not know, the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag was first introduced at the Columbian Exposition.
Right here in Chi-Town.
Right here.
Yeah. And so we were wondering about that. We were like, yo, the Pledge of Allegiance, do they still do that in school? Because I remember when you was in school, that was the first thing you did back in the day when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
So we asked the assistant principal at Miss Padilla at Lyon, and she was like, yeah, they still do it. Yeah,
some schools do, some schools don't.
Yeah.
Some students participate, some students don't.
Yeah.
There's a lot more flexibility.
That's wild to think that, like, I was in school in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like, 89 to 94 was my years. And like, we were doing it there. Hand over the chest and everything. They still doing that. Yeah. That's crazy. And to think that it started here in Chicago, man. Crazy. Without Chicago. We could go without that one, though. I mean,
we could drop that one. That's fine.
But here's the thing, y'all. It didn't start out as...
It didn't start out that the flag of the United States of America and under... One Nation Under God was added in the 60s. It started out as I pledge allegiance to my flag. And so it morphed a few times. We'll do a little reel on it too, because I think it's kind of interesting. It's a fascinating story of how it came about, because it was literally a marketing campaign. So it was marketing by these guys that wanted to sell flags. For real. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just, that's crazy to think. That's how we got to Pledge Allegiance. Yeah. So the Pledge of Allegiance ain't even real. Like, it ain't even...
Nothing is real. Everything is made up.
That's
Dario.
not even a genuine thing. They were just trying to sell flags. That's crazy. And y'all, if you think we're making it up, we did the research. We just not spewing stuff out here.
Yeah, no, for real. Well, I would never lie.
No, we know.
I mean, I would,
but...
Giggle.
No, giggle. No.
I don't lie.
Invalidate the whole podcast.
Yeah. No, this is why I add... you know what? I will add the source about the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's why we do it.
So you can...
That's why we have video of us
you can
looking,
that.
researching. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Friday night was last night, October 21st, 1892, was the inaugural ceremonies. This was held at the auditorium. They had 5,000 guests that were invited. Mr. Clarence Eddy sang "A Strong Castle is Our Lord." Sure.
Okay.
There was a prayer. There was a welcome by the president of the fair. Obviously, a welcome by Bertha Palmer. And then there was a salutation to the Queen of Spain. And then they partied. And it was actually really important for them to party. There was a specific quote by the president of the fair. And he said, and this is not a direct quote, but the vibe was that celebration to people is as essential as light is to plants and oxygen is to living beings. And so he really kind of promoted the spirit of celebration, which I agree with. I feel like it's really important for us to celebrate, especially in times where it feels like there's nothing to celebrate, because that's what they want you to feel. Yeah. But you should celebrate.
Yeah.
You shouldn't feel bleak and like there is no end to things. You should remain positive and continue to celebrate the little wins, whether in your life or in our country.
Y'all, I had to hit you with the second part. Give you a little break right there. But we're gonna talk about what was it like to be there, right?
Yeah.
And who was there specifically from a different angle. In our research, we had a bunch of boxes pulled out, and in these boxes there were a lot of things. Which, look at the show notes and look at the Substack, you'll see it all. But we ran across a name, one Harriet Monroe.
Really interesting person.
Really interesting person, because not only did we just run across her name, but why was she in the box with the World's Fair stuff?
It was her box.
It was her box.
She kept everything from the World's Fair.
And we'll get to why she kept everything from the World's Fair. But a little bit about her. She was born here in Chicago, December 23rd, 1860. So about 32 years before the World's Fair. In 1879, she graduated from the Visitation Academy in Georgetown, Washington, D.C., which is one of the oldest all-girls schools, colleges in the country. And she was an editor. She was an author. She was kind of like artsy-fartsy. You know what I mean? When it came to that literary sense of things, right?
What's really cool is in one of her boxes, I found a manuscript for a play that was never published. It was 4 acts, and it was fully typed out. And one said draft and one said final, but she never published it. So she wrote a lot.
And y'all probably like, yo, well, why? Is that still in the box? Well, let me continue here. She desperately wanted to be somebody famous. She wanted to be somebody known. She wanted poetry to get its just dues, and she was incessant about it. She wanted that to happen before she died, and she wanted to be somebody famous. And so that's how passionate she was about her craft, to the point where she wasn't getting paid a lot compared to other arts. You know,
not only was she a woman, but she was also writing poetry.
Yeah, she would write poetry, and she kind of was like, "Hey, man, the painter, all these other arts, they get money, they get the bag. When it comes to the poets, y'all just be like, oh man, it's just some paragraphs." And her goal was like, nah, that was her words. She was like, yo, this is not how it should be. Poetry is important, you know?
Right.
And so what's crazy is that was 1889. She got a job working as a correspondent for the Chicago Tribune. Now, y'all, I'm going to pause it right there real quick, because if you do research, that was all done from the internet, and obviously we did research, right, in the library. But if you only read what's on the internet without actually going to do hardcore research, your story would stop there. You'd be like, oh yeah, Harriet Monroe, she then went to the World's Fair and yada, yada, yada. No, we worked kind of backwards. This is why you do research, y'all. We work backwards.
Somebody count how many times Dario said research this episode.
Who cares? We did our job, right? Our due diligence. And we were in the University of Chicago pulling boxes out. And when we ran across this, we kind of saw like pieces. We were asking questions. Well, who is she? Why is she with the Chicago Tribune? How did she get invited by Daniel Burnham
to like every ceremony?
Y'all, she was invited. She had a free pass. We quickly, easily put together, okay, she's a correspondent.
Yeah. She's important.
She's important. Yeah, she was, she's a poet. She was a writer. She was, we got that. So maybe that's why she must have been a big time deal at the time, right? Like she was just a new hotness right there. Yeah. Turns out when she was hired for correspondence at the Chicago Tribune, it was for the arts and entertainment and like kind of give her opinion. She kind of like had an op-ed is basically what it was.
Yeah. Or like a critic of the arts.
Yeah, she was a critic. Yeah. She was a critic of the arts, and then she had her own editorial in there also. So she was partly living a dream of, telling the world how it is, but also going to these type of events.
That's cool.
Now, these type of events, I still don't, how did she get mixed up? I mean, y'all, we held letters from Daniel Burnham saying, hey, escort Miss Monroe down here, yada, yada, yada. Specifically her.
Right.
Whole time, now you got 5 people. It was me, you, Cairo, Sam, not Sam. She wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And then was it Alex, other girl? Man, I apologize. I forgot the other girl's name. Angela. And then the Elizabeth, she was there partly.
Yeah.
You got 5 people in there, all like, bro, who is this?
But what's funny is that Sam, who is currently pursuing a PhD at the University of Chicago and teaching a class at the university on the World's Fair, is the one that said, pull this box. There's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
Because she pulled it for her class to like do the research for it. And we're so glad that she pulled it, because if you look at it in the archives, it just says the Harriet Monroe Papers.
Yeah.
And if you have to look at each individual box to see what's in it. and it doesn't necessarily like pop up when you're doing the World's Columbian Exposition research. So it was really useful to have someone that is on staff, has done the research to like be like flag it as something that's so grateful.
Man, because going back to, you do your own research on the internet, you find, she did the ode and everything, which, by the way, we held the actual ode that people got when they went there.
Oh, not only that, I also held the papers. So she submitted a draft of her ode, and they came back with notes, and they're like, "Do you really need to say that?" Like literally, they were like, "What does this word do here?" Like it makes they were these like men in an office sitting like, I don't like this word. I don't like this word. And she actually didn't listen to a lot of their suggestions. She wrote what she wrote, and she just kept her poem as is, her ode as is.
Yeah, she did. She didn't care about what was going on. Now, pause that for a second. Rewind a month prior. Here's
September 1892.
September 1892, a month before the opening, in her ode, which, by the way, we were like, well, why did she scratch out? Obviously, she was mad because they put the commemorative ode, and we were like, on there, she put no Columbian ode. They didn't say no, but they said Columbian ode. And we're like, oh, she was pissed. You could tell, like, somebody.
Yeah.
But now you realize, wait a minute. A month before, somehow, New York Times papers got her poem and published it before the World's Fair. Now, she sued and took them to court. She got a lot of money. She got $5,000 from that. So now you put it together and be like, oh, that's why she was mad. That's why she was pissed off.
Someone like leaked her poem.
Somebody leaked her poem, and that was a big deal. Now, further,
I bet you it's the PR office, the press office.
Well, further investigation of all the stuff that we pulled, we found out that before Chicago had the actual World's Fair, New York held a World's Fair, a celebration, because they lost the year prior. Not putting out there again. You don't want to be like, hey, New York is bad or whatever, or jealous of this. You don't want to make up false stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But
I mean, they were jealous.
If we put up a little bit of, put it together.
Yeah.
They probably was like, man, leak her stuff,
you think?
man. Hey, look, they did it with.
I think it was like the press office.
They still published it. So like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like without her consent. I'm sure the rules weren't so different now. You had to ask, hey, could we put your work in the paper?
That's true.
Not only was it it went out to everybody.
Yeah, that's crazy.
After Daniel Burnham asked her to be there. Now, back to the ode, once they got that dust settled, that was settled, I'm sure, after the World's Fair. But, we held all the papers, all her invites and everything like that. Again, we're like, what was Daniel Burnham's obsession with her? Yeah. Now,
how does he know her?
Well, I did my little due diligence, right? And I did put the paper trail together, okay? We know that Daniel Burnham was the head architect, lead design for the World's Fair. But
Director of Works.
Yeah, but we also know that his partner, John Wellborn Root, was also planning this with him.
Yep.
Now let's go down the timeline. She signed on with the Chicago Tribune in 1889, roughly right around that time.
So young too.
Yes. John Root married her sister, Dora Louise Monroe, in 1882.
Okay.
So they have 7 years of history when she got signed on to the Chicago Tribune, which I'm sure somehow McCormick was involved with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Continue to break this down for you. Daniel Burnham and John Root founded Burnham and Root 1873. So they had been working together.
Yep.
John Root died in 1891.
Right.
The year before the World's Fair.
Yeah.
So John Root was supposed to be the lead that Daniel Burnham was. Daniel Burnham, because they were partners and they were kind of doing this together, automatically was given to do it. Put that all together, he was like, yo, here's a way probably to honor John Root. Plus, we know this.
Yeah.
That's why all the things that we read, all the letters are so personal, and he's catering to her because of that reason, probably. Right,
because it's like his best friend, but like
his
very,
boy.
You know, his very close friend's like sister-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah. His boy. You know what I mean? Like they had business. They play. Man, 1888, the Rookery Building was built, right?
Yeah. They worked together very closely.
They worked together. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it was, I'm sure that's why. So Harriet was not only important in that realm, but she also had the voice to speak on what's going on. And I'm sure it was like, all right, we need you to put this in the paper that this is about to be. This is lit. This is the thing to be at. Yeah. Now, I think it was 2011. 2011, she was inducted into
2011.
Not 2011. Maybe it was. Man, I'm sorry. I apologize, y'all. She was inducted into the Poetry Hall of Fame because in 1912, she actually started Poetry, the magazine, and the whole thing was, and this is kind of full story arc here. We kind of jumping ahead, abbreviating, I should say. She started the poetry thing magazine to amplify modern poetry as we know it today. And again, we know that she was not happy with the pay and all this stuff. So
it was 2011.
It was 2011. I knew it. 2011, she was inducted into the Poetry Hall of Fame. And it's because of her works and efforts with the Poetry magazine that she founded, which was founded right here in Chicago. Yeah. And it put on a lot of different people for their poetry. And it is said to have defined what today's modern poetry is. So there you have it. A person that is from Chicago, a likely story that you wouldn't even think about happening with the World's Fair.
Yeah. She was known as the poet friend of poets.
Yes. So she was the one. She was the Baccarat. You know what I mean? she was. And so there we are. So now we had the World's Fair. We look at the Substack, y'all, because like the stuff that we held on to and the stuff that we have is just absolutely insane and incredible. Yeah. So go ahead, take a look at that stuff because all of the things that we talked about today are there. Tickets, all her, man, she kept everything. Like we said, all her stuff is there. We even had diaries. We even saw her invitation to the 1933 World's Fair, which she died 30 years later.
Yeah.
Not 30 years later. She died 3 years later. I'm sorry. So that was in 30. She died in 36. So yeah. 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 So, but yeah, there you go.
Cool story.
Yeah, there you go. But now, y'all, I know you're probably like, hey,
you're like, all right, let's get into it.
Get into it.
And we will. Next episode, we are going to spend a day at the fair, May 1st, 1893. We are going to grab your ticket and get inside. All right, so I don't have any new books or movie recommendations. I will continue to search for different angles of books as we get into the fair. But the list from last week still stands. If you haven't gone through that, I will include the same list on this week's notes so that you can kind of get a refresher. But yeah, again, we're not going to answer the 10 years before, 10 years after, 10 years, because that's kind of like the entire, the thick of it, as they say. But this is like my dream topic. I'm having so much fun doing the research for this. I'm having so much fun talking about it and writing about it.
Paint this picture of the World's Fair, especially the preamble to it. I would encourage you to watch our reels. I know if you follow our reels, we've been kind of like a little bit slow. Things have been busy around here, but follow the reels this week after this episode because, man, we gonna bring it to life, man. We bringing this stuff to life for you. We're gonna be feet to ground with it because there's a lot of cool places that you need to see. So
shout out to the one person that sent a message this week and said that they agree with me that there should be a show about the World's Fair.
It definitely should be a show.
HBO, if you're listening, please.
Because we know
we
you
are
are
at your disposal.
We know you're listening.
Us and the entire city of Chicago. I speak for all of us. But that's all for this week. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure you are following us everywhere at 77 Flavors Shy. And, you want to subscribe to that Substack. Visit our website, 77flavors.org. And you can find all that information over there. And I'm so excited to see you next week. Make sure you grab your tickets. Put on your best frocks.
Your best frocks,
and
y'all.
we'll see you then. Fedoras and all, top hats and everything.
Let's go. We going to the World's Fair, y'all.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.